Now, the historical Jesus was crucified in Jerusalem, but he prophesied that when the Son of Man came in the last days, the evil afflicting humanity would be worse than it was during the time of Noah and Lot. Noah and Lot were sent to specific locations. However, the Messiah is sent to the entire earth, as demonstrated in the Honorable Louis Farrakhan's global messianic mission over the last 40 plus years. The United States specifically fulfills the prophecy of this great city that we just read, which is spiritually called Egypt and Sodom. How so? Well, according to the Old Testament prophecies, Egypt is where Abraham's seed, the chosen people of God, were enslaved for 400 years. And the Messiah is raised among them in the last days to redeem them. No one can deny that the history and legacy of Black people enslaved in the Americas fulfill the prophecy of Abraham's seed being in bondage. Now, once again, we know this to be certain because the history of the Caucasian people who invaded Palestine and Jerusalem, we know their history. They're from Europe, and they were planted there by the UK and by the United States. They are not the chosen people of God. They're Yaqub's grafted devil who was driven into Europe 6,000 years ago, but given time afterwards to rule the earth. And that rule included them invading the lands of the original people and pillaging them, and also stealing the identity by their misinterpretation of the scriptures. Well, the social environment in Sodom did not only include sanctioning homosexuality, according to the Bible and the Holy Quran, but it also included sexual reprehensible behaviors that led to the sexual trafficking of people, namely women and children, against their will. That's alluded to in the story of Lot, or the narrative of Lot. Well, a few years ago, I read several articles in The Final Call about the sexual trafficking of girls and women in Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities specifically. Some of the men of these communities, their own men, were also involved in this atrocity, which is still ongoing. Those men who were not directly involved just looked the other way. So even though the communities of the original people are hurting under institutional racism on social fronts, Allah's chastisement for that behavior against our women and children will not escape us.